This is John Black, Super Chemist. We're still on the playlist called Matriarchy versus Patriarchy, and also I'm putting it in under the playlist called Pastafarian Rules, because Pastafarians need to know the difference between a matriarchy and a patriarchy, because Pastafarian religion believes in a patriarchy. Not the same type of patriarchy as a Christian patriarchy, because a Christian patriarchy thinks of women as property. Okay? We don't. Pastafarians do not believe women are property. Okay? And a bunch of other stuff that the Christian patriarchy is kind of crazy with. Okay? But anyway, so we were talking about the difference between matriarchy and patriarchy, saying that, oh, geez, I forgot. Oh, yeah. About the difference, how they were saying that the men make more, 10% or whatever it is, 7% more than women, but they took all the men's pays and all the women's pays and added them up. Of course, the men make more because they choose better jobs. Women choose basket weaving as a major, liberal arts, poetry, stupid stuff that no 5-year-old don't go get that. And then the other thing they do is they get degrees that are actually useful, but they're not useful for high-paying jobs or jobs where you can climb up the ladder. It's like teaching, HR, that kind of thing where they can socialize or they can hang around kids. You know what I mean? So it's a lie. Of course they make 10% more. They get the better jobs. That's why. It's not because of the sex. If the women went out and became physicists and engineers and CEOs, they would make just as much as men. Okay? So they also say that male doctors in the same corresponding field, like a heart doctor, that's male and female, the male makes 25% more every year. Okay? The same way with, a leg doctor or an arm doctor, heart doctor, lung doctor, whatever kind of doctors there are. If you get the same, you don't want to compare a heart surgeon that's male to a female that's a throat, ears, and gut and whatever doctor, because that throat, ear, and mouth doctor, she ain't gonna make shit, compared to a heart surgeon. You know what I mean? So when you make your list of women and men, they got to be in the same corresponding field of the doctors. They all got to be heart surgeons. They all got to be, this or that, endocrinologist, and you know what I mean? You can't just put them all together. When you do that, okay, and the feminists have done that, men doctors make 25% more than female doctors annually. So you might say, oh, that sounds like they're telling the truth. No. Because you have to look into it. Now, this is the part you have to look into, okay? Because the feminist is a liar, okay? When I looked into it, okay, what I found was, yes, men doctors do make 25% more annually. But hourly, women actually make more money hourly than men. The reason why they get 25% more annually is because they work 500 hours more than the woman. Keep in mind that there's only 2,080 hours in a year, if you work a 40-hour week. If you take 2 weeks off every year, that takes it down to, I lost my train of thought. But 2,000. 2,080 goes down to 2,000 hours. So 2,000 hours a year is a 40-hour week, okay? And so the women are working 2,000 hours a year. The men are working 2,500 hours a year, right? Right? And what does that mean? That means that 500, that means 2,500 is 25% of that. Gee, it comes out exactly, right? Because 2,000, you got 4 500s. That means 500 is 25% or 1/4 of 2,000. And that men are working 500 more hours, so they're working 25% more than the women, right? So therefore they should make 25% more than the women, and they do, okay? And you might say, well, hey, John, you just told me that the women make more hourly than the men. Yeah, because those 500 hours, it comes out 25%. They make more, and they work 25% more hours. But those overtime hours aren't time. They're time and a half for poor people. So I suspect doctors get double time when they get overtime, okay? So they should actually be making 50% more than their counterpart, their female counterpart, right? 25% for the actual hours, and then because they get double time for it, that would double it, right? And even if they only get a time and a half, that's 37.5% more that they should make than women. But they don't. They make 25% more. So obviously the women make more per hour. And the reason why they do is because women, when you're talking about physics or chemistry or engineering or doctor, lawyer, anything like that, they give them money. See, it's the affirmative action. Just like I said, matriarchy doesn't care about meritocracy. They only care about discrimination. They care about your sex. They care about your sexuality, your gender, your skin color, your everything they care about that has nothing to do with doing your job, right? That's what they care about because they're racist, okay? But, I lost my train of thought. So it's a lie that men get paid more. Women actually get paid more because they're paying them to go into those fields. For some reason, they want everything to be, let's say there's 50% women and 50% men. They want 50% women in every field, and they want 50% men in every field, like the population. But the thing is, men and women aren't the same. That's why men go for engineer and physicist, and a women go for, going to be a teacher for little kids. Because they're different. And you can't force them to not be, you can't force women to go into these things, but you can bribe them, right? And then they get into these fields and they're totally miserable because they didn't want to get into them. They couldn't turn down the extra money they were going to get from affirmative action. And don't get me wrong, affirmative action for black people or minorities back in the day before the year 2000, hey, okay, whatever. There was a lot of racism and a lot of whatevers. But this day and age, after 2000, no. Affirmative action is just racism at that point, okay? It's just racism or sexism or whatever you want to call it. Like these women act like they don't get paid. They can't get no jobs. They get paid extra. Any woman that wants to go into a STEM, doing computers, physics, engineering, they get free college. I mean, I don't know about free, but they give them a bunch of money so that they can go to college and take those classes. And then when the businesses, they give them a bunch of money saying, because the government wants you to have, you got to be 50% engineers, even though women don't want to be engineers. And we're going to pay any amount of money, billions, trillions, we don't care. We'll pay them women to get to be, but they don't have any opportunity. They got more opportunity than any dude. You think a dude, the government comes to the dude and says, hey, we're going to give you money so you can pay for your college because you're going to be an engineer? Oh, we're going to give you, when you get hired at the business, they're going to give you $10,000 extra every year because you're a man? No, they're going to give you $10,000 extra for a woman because affirmative action, for some crazy-ass reason that doesn't make any sense, they want 50% of women and 50% of men in all, it doesn't matter. it's construction. Doesn't matter if it's the hard. Doesn't even matter if it's a job that a woman can't even do. They want 50% of the people in there. Okay, because they don't believe in a meritocracy like a patriarchy believes in.